Boring articles pitched to junk websites by tragic emails with lame follow-ups to get spammy links. Shattered Dreams Parkway. And that is why most guest posting doesn't work. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Actually, writing for other websites, i.e. guest posting, can be a pretty good idea, particularly if your business likes rankings, credibility, and money. Not to mention that getting your content published on the sort of websites that your audience is already reading is a great way to impress them with your wit and intelligence. Alright, well never mind, but at least you might get a backlink. But when most people try guest posting, they sort of poke at it with a stick for 10 minutes, get nowhere, give up, and then just go back to scrolling TikTok on their phones. But not you. Not today. Got it? Today we're going to go through a guest posting formula that you can use to get your business and your content featured. We use a variation of this formula at Exposure Ninja with our clients all around the world. Oh, and by the way, if you're still wondering, does guest posting work for SEO? Stick around to the end to find out. Ready? Step 1, ideation. Ideation just means thinking, but marketing agencies can't sell you thinking, so we call it ideation. If you're going to get your content published, you need to have a good angle. You need to have something that people are actually going to be interested in. This is the main reason that guest posting usually fails, because boring gets nowhere. When coming up for ideas for guest posts, imagine your perfect customer scrolling through their phone. What sort of content angle could you put in front of them which would stop them from scrolling, catch them in their tracks? That's the sort of thing that you're after. Luckily, we have some tools that can help us in this task. Let's do an example to see how they work. Alright, we're going to do a quick example with a made-up business, and this business is going to have created a device that waters houseplants automatically. You can do it from your phone, it's smart, all that type of stuff. Why houseplants? Well, I've got one here that has seen better days. Shh, that's where I keep the dead leaves. Anyway, so we've got a clear need. So how do we find a good guest posting topic? Well, the first tool that we're going to check out is Exploding Topics at explodingtopics.com. So Exploding Topics allows us to look at any topic and see how interest is trending over time and whether this topic has already peaked. Obviously, you want to be posting about something that's getting more popular than getting less popular. Another great tool you can use to find guest posting topics is answerthepublic.com. Just go to Answer the Public, stick in your topic, and it'll give you all of the questions that people are asking about that topic. Some of these might make good guest post topics. For example, can houseplants survive outside? Can houseplants live forever? Now, my watering device is obviously designed to help plants live longer, or live full stop, or just live. So this could be a good topic for me to guest post about because it ties in a common problem with a solution that I have created. Another great tool for guest posting is BuzzSumo. Stick in any topic and you'll be able to see related content ideas. When you click on these, you'll see the posts that have been shared in this area. So you can see, are things on this topic getting lots of shares? Is there lots of interest in this topic? Or again, is it trending down? This can also give you some insight into the sort of content that people are most likely to share with and engage on social media. Now, as well as talking directly about your topic, in this case, houseplants, you can also piggyback on other topics that are popular. For example, let's say I wanted to talk about mental health and I wanted to talk about the links between mental health and houseplants. That would allow me to go after publications that talk about mental health and use mental health trending topics to get coverage for my business. I could also do a similar thing about climate change, something else which is really current and in the news at the moment. How can I link houseplants to climate change in order to get coverage for my business? Maybe something like, are houseplants good for the climate? Or which houseplants suck out the most carbon dioxide? If you're a specialist business talking about specialist niche topics, then don't worry if these tools tell you that there's not much volume. You're going to find your publications first and then write based on what those publications are talking about. Okay, so you got your topic, now it's time to find some publications to get some coverage in. A few good ways to do this. Firstly, just Google it. I've got to talk about my houseplants, so I might go onto Google and just search for houseplant blogs. This is going to give me a whole bunch of blogs about houseplants. So I know that they're going to be topically relevant because Google's ranking them, and I also know they're going to have reasonable authority if Google is ranking them. And I want to get my content featured on reasonable authority blogs because I don't want to be wasting my time writing for spammy blogs, and if I'm going to get links, I want them to be from decent websites. You can also search for houseplant magazines. This is going to tend to give you larger websites. So here I've got things like Gardener's World. They're like a UK gardening institution. They would be so proud of this. But they've got books, radio, TV, magazines. They're all over the place. So getting some coverage on a site like this would be fantastic for my plant device. Another great way to find publications to target is to find your competitors and analyze their backlinks. So let's say for my plant business, waterirrigation.co.uk is a competitor, so I might head over to SEMrush, free trial at thankyouninjas.com, and do a little bit of backlink analysis. So I stick them in here and I can see what sort of sites they're getting links from. I can then work out, are any of these sites that I might want to target with my guest posting? In this case, probs not. Maybe this one. Which leads us on to a very common question and a bit of a stumbling block with guest posting. You might find some sites where you think actually they look kind of junky. Do I really want to include them in my guest post outreach? Well, here's how to tell. You want to think like Google. So ask yourself, firstly, is this site mobile friendly? Any site that's not mobile friendly in 2022 needs to have a serious word with itself. Secondly, are they secure? Is it using SSL, HTTPS at the start of the domain? Again, if they're not in 2022 and onwards, what is going on? Thirdly, is the subject matter on this site a fairly close match? If they're posting about all sorts of stuff, it might not even be a decent site that actual humans ever go and visit. Fourthly, do they have a good backlink profile? Do they have other websites linking to them? Fifthly, do they have good domain authority? And you can use Moz's link research tool to find out what domain authority a site is. And finally, do they have a good spam score? We're usually aiming for a spam score of less than 10%. How many publications do you need to research? We typically allow maybe 20 publications that we'll reach out to get 1 or 2 articles placed. So you need to build up a good database of publications that you want to target. Messi, Ronaldo, goals, pitch. Speaking of goals, let's talk about your pitch. Now, once you've found the publications that you want to contact, you need to find someone who you can actually talk to at these publications. Usually you don't just want to go to their contact page and fill in a form. Usually you want to find an actual person to talk to, either an editor or a writer. Now, on a lot of websites, you can click on their link to go to their author page, which will sometimes have a direct contact for them. If it doesn't, then you can often research their name and find them on Twitter, and they'll often have an email address in their bio because they actually want people to give them ideas for articles. Well, you want to be friendly, but you also want to be straight to the point because these people get a lot of pictures. They know the deal. So I'd write them a personal message, something like,
"Hi Tony, loving your article about how to propagate orchids. A cutting from my mother-in-law's moth orchid is still going strong in my lounge 15 years later. Would your readers be interested in an article I've written? It's called The 5 Most Effective Ways to Rebloom Orchids. I've tested a whole bunch of methods and found that these 5 things work the best. I'd love to send it over if you think it might be suitable for plantmonthly.com. Tim from plantwaterninja.com.
Now, don't be waiting up for Tony's reply. You want to reach out to all the writers and editors at the other publications that you've researched too. And then you want to get stuck in with follow-up. You know the saying, great books aren't written, they're rewritten. Trust me, first version of this was rubbish. We're on about rewrite number 6 now, and half of it is about 35% good, so I hear. By the way, you can get a free copy of How to Get to the Top of Google by clicking the link in the description. I've never been any good at winking. Just like great books aren't written, they're rewritten, great guest post opportunities aren't pitched, they are repitched. These journalists and writers and editors, they are super busy, so you're going to follow up with them usually 2 to 3 days later. There's no particular art to this, you're just going to reply to your first email with a gentle message, "Hi Tony, just following up to see if this was of interest." Now remember, you haven't written your article yet. Before I give you some tips on how to write your article, check out the free website and digital marketing review from Exposure Ninja. Go to exposureninja.com, click the big button. One of our team will record you a 15-minute video showing you how to generate more leads and sales from your website. And by the way, some of the world's biggest brands have had this review and they freaking love what they get. Okay, writing. So when a publication says they're interested in publishing your content, now it's time to write. Now you're not going to write as if you're the marketing manager for the business that you're working for. You're going to write as if you are a journalist. Yes, you are now a journalist. Good journalists write to interest their audience. They write to match the publication's style. And when they mention a product, service, or business, they do so in a natural way that makes sense for a reader. Now, of course, you're going to want to talk about your business in your guest post. That's kind of the point. But you don't want to do it in an advertorial or over-the-top way. That's ironically going to give you less credibility in your article. Back to my plant watering guest post, I might write something like, "One of the keys to keeping your orchid reblooming over and over is to make sure it's adequately watered. Any serious houseplant owner knows the ice cube trick, leaving an ice cube or 3 to melt, gradually watering the orchid without soaking the roots. There's also a range of more technical solutions, including smart plant watering systems like Plant Water Ninja, allowing green-fingered geeks to control their plant's hydration using an app." When you send over your article to the publication, you're going to include your author bio and your website link. And of course, you're going to be linking from in the body of your article too. And because we've been well raised, once your article is published, reach out to the editor and thank them for publishing it. Also, let them know that you've sent it out to your audience as well. And once you've nailed guest posting, there's another 17 ways to build backlinks in this video. So check that out, choose one, and master that one next. See you soon.